And finally, we are requesting a motion to authorize the advertisement of bids for the Newtown Township pedestrian upgrades project. As we all know, this project is to provide pedestrian upgrades at the two existing unsignalized intersections in Newtown Township, the intersections of Newtown Board and Tara Blvd, and Sycamore Street and Silo Drive. The bid documents are in the process of being prepared, and we are looking for a motion to advertise the project for bid.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the board?
I have some questions.
Go ahead, sir.
You still have not received the comments from PennDOT regarding the Silo Drive crosswalk, is that correct?
That's correct.
So how could we bid this out without having that already in hand?
We would not, but in anticipation of receiving the approval and having the bid documents prepared before the next supervisors meeting, that's we would look for the authorization of it.
We have everything we need for the Tara Drive crosswalk project approved.
We have the signal permit approval for that crosswalk, yes.
Why can't we go ahead and proceed with that, having a bird in hand rather than two in the bush? Who knows how long it's going to take PennDOT to come back, whatever they're coming back with comments, and for you guys to act upon it. That's going to further delay two projects instead of just one.
In coordinating with the township, it was always proposed, it's how it was proposed in the grant, to be one project. I think it would behoove the township to do it as one project.
It was proposed in the grant. I don't recall okaying anything like that, that this is one project combined. That escapes me.
It could have been that the state, did the state require it be all in the grant, for the grant funds, but was the state?
The grant covers two intersections. It doesn't require that you do them at the same time, as far as I know. It just, the grant runs out after a certain time limit, that's all it is.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Bidding the projects at the same time will yield a better cost result from the contractors.
How is that? Can you explain that? Because I've been talking to engineers who says it doesn't make a bit of difference. They work on one project at a time in any case.
Because if you get one contractor for two projects, you don't get charged twice for mobilization.
What is mobilization?
For them to show up on site and do the work.
To drive a truck here, is that what you're talking about?
And equipment and everything else, yes.
And I would think there'd be some savings from reviews in the beginning too, in order to respond to the bid.
Yes, I mean, you're talking about advertising two separate projects. That's preparing two separate bid documents. It seems to make more sense to have this as one project for the two crosswalks.
It just seems to make more sense, but it really doesn't make more sense as far as I'm concerned.
Let me come back, take a step back. The PennDOT was supposed to have comments to the Silo Drive by August 11th, as I remember. It was Sunday, so it wasn't going to happen on Sunday.
Upon receipt of the submission for that signal, they gave us an anticipated review date of August 11th.
So, I mean, they could review it and approve it and get our permit to us tomorrow.
Sure.
So I would like to go ahead and be ready for that eventuality. If it doesn't, I mean, then we're wasting even more time.
Right, so that if we receive the motion, or if we receive authorization to bid, once we receive that approval for the Sycamore Silo signal permit, and we have completed the bid documents, we can advertise this project for bid.
And you're working on the bid documents,
Yes.
and you haven't been slowed down about that yet.
Not yet. I mean, we might get to a point if we don't hear in the next couple of weeks, but hopefully it's not going to come to that. Again, it was the August 11th was the anticipated review date from PennDOT.
So what you're expecting from PennDOT is a permit to go ahead with the Silo Drive crosswalk improvements?
Correct.
And is there any reason for you to believe that they won't do that? They'll come back and say, well, you need to change this and that?
It's hard to tell. Obviously, we went through a few rounds on the other crosswalk, but you know, we are confident in what we submitted. It's just sort of out of our hands what they may come back to us with.
And I would just say, why would we want to go through this procedural aspect twice when we can do it once, we're ready to go? Just doesn't make sense to separate it out.
Ready to go as soon as PennDOT's ready.
Yeah, and I'll also just add, I mean, we'll obviously be sharing the bid documents before we were to advertise this project for bid with the township for any comments or review.
You see this package here, this book? This is the verbatim of my deposition because of a case at somebody who was killed at Silo Drive because we didn't make improvements fast enough. Now we have
Mr. Mack, I'd be very careful here.
Well, let me finish. I do not want to sit through another deposition if there is an accident at Tara Blvd crosswalk. When we are ready to go ahead, we have everything we need to go ahead with making improvements there. I do not want to do that again. I don't like depositions.
Okay, any more comments questions from the board? Any from the public? Yeah, we did a motion. Yeah. Did you have anything to add, Mr. Carver, before?
No, I just wanted to.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was two of you at the same time, I think. Mr. Fred. Yes, public comment.
Good evening, Charles Foyer, Newtown Walk, and I believe there are some points of clarification on some statements that have been made that are very important to this. And the first one that comes to mind that I've reviewed with a number of people, on July 10th, Mr. Cundari clearly stated, and you can go back to the tape, that from the beginning, the Tara and Sycamore Silo projects have been dealt with and worked by his company as our contractor as two separate projects. Also, it was brought up at a previous Board of Supervisors meeting and agreed upon by the board that the timeline is critical on these because public safety, obviously with a death at one site and numerous examples of near at the other, it was agreed by the board that as the permits and the process was completed, they would move forward, mutually exclusive of each other. I have spoken to contractors and engineers that have confirmed that with a project like this, and that's why I believe our township engineer deals with them as mutually exclusive, is that there's no economy of scale of bidding the two to one bidding process. Because they're two separate projects and there are no economies of scale. That can be verified. But the most important point is that, and I'll go over this timeline as I wrote it down, RVE has clearly stated, and they've given us a timeline. We received the permit a day after the July 10th meeting, and I can clearly state Mr. Cundari's previous timeline allotments. Once a permit is received, the ad preparation takes approximately a couple of weeks, were his words. That would mean it should be completed now. July 10th was a month ago. As Mr. Cundari stated, RVE has been working on these projects mutually exclusively. Therefore, the advertising should be completed already. The construction plan should be completed already. And at this meeting, as per permit issued a month ago, the board should be instructing, I believe, and Newtown believes, because of the safety issue here, that RVE should be instructed to advertise it. It should take 2 weeks as per previous RVE statements, and then 1 month for review of the bids, and then in the October meeting, the bid can be approved, the contract can be written, and construction can start in November. These are all timelines that I have heard RVE give the board and the public. To delay potential death, fatalities, and harm doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. And because there's no economy of scale in bidding the 2 projects as one and delaying this further makes absolutely no sense. And those of us that live in Newtown Walk and have been working through the delays of getting the permit for Tara, which was started after Sycamore Silo, are a clear statement. I don't know if I need to finish that, but I can tell you that the people that I speak to in Newtown are requesting that this advertising and bid for Tara proceed now, because as Mr. Cundari has stated on numerous occasions, he doesn't know when PennDOT is going to approve this. We waited 5 months for a revision to be submitted from previous comments to PennDOT for Tara, and then there was another round. Delaying this makes no sense. The funding is there, the grants have been given. So, I appreciate everyone's patience and thoughtfulness, and you can review the previous meeting tapes. Everything I've stated to you is a fact. I reviewed the tapes before I made these statements to you all. Thanks very much.